Hi, I'm Sid. Meet our teacher, Rita.
Hi, welcome to our Max English class. A quick reminder before we get started. Make sure you have your Max English journal open in front of you to today's lesson. Let's set a clear aim for today's class.
I went to the movie theatre yesterday with my parents.
That must have been fun, Sid.
The movie was thrilling. However, there was a long queue to buy popcorn.
Oh, what did you do then?
At first, I counted the number of people ahead of me in the queue. Then I counted the number of people behind me.
That's a fun idea. Today we will read the poem Queue for the Zoo by Claire Bevan and find out what the speaker decided to do when they had to wait in a queue. Let's write what we will do in class today in the AIM section of our journals.
I've written what we're going to do today.
It's action time. Can you think of something you can do while waiting in a queue? Write in the action section of your journal. Now some of us can stand up and share. What have you written, Sid?
While waiting in a queue, you can try and count how many people are looking at their cell phones as they wait.
That's interesting, Sid. Now let's all listen to the poem Queue for the Zoo and follow along with the words and images on the screen. Pay close attention to the actions the children do in the poem. Queue for the Zoo by Claire Bevan. Oh no, there's a queue. What shall we do? Act like the animals in the zoo. Growl like tigers, grizzle like bears, skip about like mad March hares, squirm like snakes and squeak like rats, flap our coats like vampire bats, jump as high as a kangaroo. I'm glad we're in a queue, aren't you? Name one action that the children do in the poem. Some of us can stand up and share. What do you think, Sid?
One of the actions in the poem is grizzle like a bear.
Well done, Sid. Now let's read the poem aloud together. Follow along the words on the screen. Stand up and get ready to read. 1, 2, 3. Queue for the Zoo by Claire Bevan. Oh no, there's a queue. What shall we do? Act like the animals in the zoo. Growl like tigers, grizzle like bears, skip about like mad March hares, squirm like snakes and squeak like rats, flap our coats like vampire bats, jump as high as a kangaroo. I'm glad we're in a queue, aren't you?
Now let's read the poem silently and underline all the words that we don't know. There are some words I don't know. Let's write down all these words in My Word Bank in the action section of our journal. Now let's look for these words in the glossary after the poem.
Time for analysis. Let's talk about what we just read. Discuss the questions with your partner. Underline the words in the poem which mean A. To make a deep, loud sound in anger. B. To step from one foot to the other with a hop. Some of us can share with the class. Sid, what do you think?
The word growl means to make a deep, loud sound in anger that a tiger makes. The word skip means to step from one foot to the other with a hop.
Good, Sid. Flap our coats like vampire bats. Like they used their coats, what can the children use to act like elephants? Some of us can share with the class. Sid, what do you think?
I think the children could pretend to be elephants by using their arms like trunks.
Excellent, Sid. I'm glad we're in a queue, aren't you? How did the speaker feel about standing in a queue at the beginning of the poem? Why is she glad to be in the queue at the end? Some of us can share with the class. Sid, what do you think?
The speaker was disappointed at the thought of waiting in a long queue at the beginning. She is really glad now because she has found a way to have fun while waiting.
Absolutely, Sid. This poem tells us how it is up to us to make every situation enjoyable. Standing in a queue may seem boring, yet the speaker makes it amusing for herself. We will now write about the text in our own words. What is the poem about? Which action in the poem would you like to do? Write in the application section in your journal. Sid, what have you written?
The poem, Queue for the Zoo, is about a child's experience of standing in a queue. At first, the speaker was not able to think of what to do while waiting. Then she had the idea to act like animals and make animal sounds. This made her happy and she felt glad to be in the queue. I would like to try flapping my coat to be a vampire bat.
Well done, Sid. Time for a quick quiz. Shade the bubble for the correct answer in your journal. Question 1. The puppy doesn't like being held, so he squirms out of my arms when I try. What does the underlined word mean? A. To jump up. B. To sit still. C. To wriggle. D. To bend. Question 2. The door to the backyard opened with a... Which word will best complete the sentence? A. Growl. B. Squirm. C. Grizzle. D. Squeak.
In today's class, we read a poem about a girl's experience of waiting in a queue. See you next time!